Hello students, I welcome you all in my channel Sumita Dogra's Helpline. I would like to share with you a pattern by which accounting ratios will become easy for you. You must have experienced that while solving certain questions, direct items relating to a particular ratios are not given. In such a situation, this pattern will really help. Now children, let us start with this pattern. There is a balance sheet. Three heads have been covered up on liability side and three on the asset side. So before we will start creating formula on the basis of this pattern, you have to understand that if we are selecting items from the same side of the balance sheet, the items will be added. And if we will select any item from the opposite side of the balance sheet, the item will be subtracted. The first formula which I have mentioned here is of capital employed. See, in order to find out capital employed, we have two approaches. One is liabilities approach, another one is asset approach. And the first formula is related to liabilities approach. Formula is capital employed is equal to shareholders fund, which is our first major head of liability side, plus non-current liability, which is another major head of liability side. Because these two are falling on the same side of the balance sheet, it has to be added. Hence, the capital employed is equal to shareholders fund plus non-current liabilities. You can see this blue border around these two items. Okay. Now the second formula is of asset approach. Asset approach means all the assets. You can see this yellow border which is drawn around all the assets along with current liabilities. Since current liabilities are falling on the opposite side of asset side, hence to be subtracted. Hence, the formula is capital employed is equal to non-current asset plus non-current investment plus current asset minus current liabilities. It means in order to find out capital employed, current liabilities will never be included. Alright. Now there is one more way to write down the formula of capital employed on the basis of total assets. Capital employed is equal to total assets minus current liabilities. How total assets? Total assets means non-current asset plus NCI plus CA, and which we have written in second formula. So instead of writing down these three, we can write down total assets also. Minus current liabilities will be capital employed. Now the next formula is of total debt. Total debt is equal to non-current liabilities plus current liabilities. Since non-current liabilities and current liabilities falling on the same side of balance sheet, which is liabilities side, you can see this pink border. It is around these two items. So the items will be added, and hence the formula is total debt is equal to non-current liabilities plus current liabilities. Now let us proceed for another way to write down the formula of capital employed by using this total debt. As you are aware that in capital employed, current liabilities will not be included. By involving total debt, our formula will become capital employed is equal to shareholders fund, which is our first item, plus total debt, which is the combination of non-current liabilities and current liabilities. But because current liabilities can never be a part of capital employed, according to liabilities approach, we have to subtract capital current liabilities here in order to find out capital employed. Now the next formula is of working capital. Working capital is equal to current assets minus current liabilities. You can see this red line. I've connected these two items. But because one item is falling on the asset side, other one is falling on the liability side, these are of opposite nature, so have to be subtracted. Hence, our formula of working capital is current asset minus current liabilities. Now, by using working capital, let us proceed towards capital employed again. We can write down capital employed formula with the help of working capital like this. Non-current asset plus non-current investment plus working capital is equal to capital employed. There is one more way to find out capital employed on the basis of total liabilities. Total liabilities means shareholders fund plus non-current liability plus current liability minus current liability, because in case of capital employed, current liabilities can never be included. So this is another way to find out capital employed. I hope this pattern is clear to you. Now I will come up in my next video with more questions by using this pattern. Thank you.